Hi, this is Arielle Live TV, live right now in our studio at 317 South 6th Street. And of course, holidays coming, everybody are busy, everybody is shopping around the world, everybody shopping name brand. Because a lot of people, if you give them a gift with the name brand, they appreciated you. But I think for me, holidays almost every day. Christmas supposed to be is every day. Thanksgiving supposed to be every day. Birthday supposed to be every day, and any holiday supposed to be every day. Because I know a lot of people they only remember the family when it comes to holidays, especially on Christmas days. Everybody are expecting to have something, but I can say I love you guys and thank you for watching our live TV. And today I have very interesting guests, and let's talk about them both. I want to welcome Gary and also Ross. Let me pronounce their last name. Well, Gary said in American way it's Walter, in German it's Walters. I don't know if I say it right. Ross is Hübner, so that's also yeah, correct. That's correct. Wow, I perfectly yay. But anyway, I want to welcome to these two gentlemen and introduce yourself, please, because I know we talk about how you grew up and how your life transpired, you guys, from knowing what's going on in our government. And as I say earlier, that wow, both of you become a transient, become rebellious. I don't know if that considering rebellious, because we have a young generation are so rebellious to their parents, and they find their way out how to become successful and turn around. They know that the life is hard. So you were 12 when you migrated to Las Vegas, and you're also 12. You meet each other when you both are 12 years old, and you inspire each other of your story.
No, I didn't meet him when he was 12. I met him about 5 years ago.
5 years ago after he was 12 years old. And you both learn the hard way living in the street like other people are doing now, because they, as I mentioned, a lot of people are so rebellious that they think they can find their way out, and there you are. And also you both wrote books together, so the Tyrants and Tyranny, and that's the message for the community, that knowing the government is so corrupt. Now tell me about yourself first, Russ. How you guys also went to the business together, and here you are, you made your life to have a gold mine. So tell me about yourself.
First of all, I came here in '68 with my parents. We didn't have any money. I lived in a tent for 2 years in my relative's backyard, because there was no room in the house. Houses back then were very, very small. And, a 3-bedroom was a big house. And if you had a 3-bedroom, even the bedrooms were very, very small. You know what I mean? They were very small. They were like maybe 10 by 10 at the most, some of them.
Let me stop you there before you continue. A lot of people think when you are in America, the life is so wonderful. As you can see, they're also American. We're all, in here in America, a lot of people around the world think living in America is wonderful. As you can see, there are real foreigner in their own land here in America. Go ahead.
So I went to school here, graduated from high school, then I went on to UNLV. I really didn't have any focus on any area of study. I made the mistake of listening to my counselor, who put me in the sciences, and I did that for about 3.5 years, and then I didn't really like it because it was overly competitive in the sense that people wanted to go to medical school, and so these guys had a lot of training in how to study and how to do that. I went in completely country bumpkin type guy, didn't have a clue. I didn't even know how to study. I didn't know how to do anything. So it was too competitive. So I decided to go from a biology major to economics, and I liked that a lot more. But what happened is some things happened, and I had to take a sabbatical. So I took a sabbatical, and then what happened is I got in a car accident, and I wanted to defend myself because I didn't feel I was at fault.
How old are you on that time when you get the
I was about 23, somewhere around there, 23, 24 years old, and I was still in school when I was 21. And what happened is that I had a friend that was going to law school, so he came into town, and I said, hey, can you help me out, teach me a little bit? So I did my own brief for my car accident. I got my ticket dismissed. But lo and behold, I found out that getting your ticket dismissed doesn't mean you win. So,
Right.
yeah, it doesn't mean you win. And so if you get a ticket and they make you driver one, your ticket still means you're at fault. Even though it's dismissed, you're still the at-fault driver. The only way that you can get that taken care of is to go to trial and be found not guilty. So the judge dismissed my ticket. I thought, hey, I won. I went to the insurance company. Hey, I won. They said, no, you didn't. So I said, wait a minute. So I started studying law. I got interested in it because of that. And I said, this is so inherently unfair. It's ridiculous.
But
So,
you're not a lawyer. You only learn.
no, I'm getting to that.
Learning.
I'm getting to that. So what happened is I studied the law I took 5 years off my life, and I just did nothing but study. And so I studied the law. It was one of the things I studied, and I read every book I could get my hands on about everything. And just, didn't date, didn't go out and party, didn't hang out with my friends. Just took 5 years and just spent it studying everything I could touch. And at the end of that time, I decided, hey, I think I know enough about this law. I think I'm going to go apply for a job. So I went and applied for a job at a law firm. I read an article in the paper. I had some dealings with attorneys, and I didn't have very much respect for them because they screwed me, on the deals that they represented me on. So I saw this article in the paper. It said, Attorney Colcox Judge. And I said, well, there's the guy I want to work for. This guy's got some big ones, So I went and I made an appointment to see him, and I talked to him. I said, hey, I want to go to work for you as your paralegal. And he said, sorry, if you had a 2-year degree as a legal assistant, I would hire you right now. I said, okay. So I went out, I got a 2-year degree in 2 semesters. I did 45 credits in 2 semesters, and I got my college diploma. And then I went back and he hired me, and I worked for him for 13 years.
Wow.
And he was the #1 guy in the state for driving under the influence cases. And we did several murder cases and stuff, which are easy compared to DUI cases, by the way. And so I worked on about 250 appeals with him in that case. Then I went to another law firm because I wanted to make more money so I could survive. And what happened is when I went to that law firm, I wrote 77 appeals myself. He just signed his name.
No way.
And so I was trying to finish my degree. I only needed 4 credits, but then after working for 13 years with no vacations and not getting any time off to finish my degree, then I needed 30 credits all of a sudden because it passed a new law or new regulation with the UNLV, and so they knocked me out of the box for 4 credits to graduate. Now I need 30.
I'm so sorry, do you know in Washington, if the lawyer, actually you work with the lawyer, that they can actually accept you as a lawyer?
I'm well aware of that. I got
Why do you
same in California.
Yeah. Really? In California?
Yeah, same. What happened is he has a friend in California, and he was kind of making fun of me, saying, paralegal, blah, 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 So, and that's what people like to do. But then I sent him some of the briefs I wrote, and he called me back and he said, wow, you're very, very good. He goes, so he sent those to a Supreme Court judge in California, and he said, I'll hire that guy right now as my law clerk.
So that's how you start getting to know what's the government.
Not
yet. Let's talk about Gary. What do you think, Gary? What do you think about what he's talking about, and you guys get together and make this thing happen?
Well, what's ironic is how I met this guy. I was doing radio shows in Pahrump on the Nevada Revised Statutes being invalid and void ab initio. And he got a phone call from a client of his who sits on the board of Amagosa there and said, you got to hear this guy on the radio. So he gave him his number and he called me up. He showed up at my house. He was a little hostile. He had a backwood in his left side and I had one in my right side like this. You know, we both chew a little smoke 'em. And
How old are you on that time? And how old are you on that time?
oh, I'm antique. This was 6 years ago.
Oh, okay, just
And
recently.
Right, 6
yeah,
years ago.
so
Uh-huh.
he came and he said, well, I'm going to stay 15 minutes. I said, okay. He said, I want to see what you're talking about here because I want to tell you, first of all, I don't believe anything. And I said, well, that's okay. It's your prerogative. You know, you can emphatically doubt me and we'll get along great. And since then, he's been with me 6 years. While that's going on and the books are in the making and the communication's going on and we took the white paper and Ross came in and shepherdized all the case law, which means it's very difficult to have anything in front of it to defeat it. And so he was able to enhance the white paper, which the book was born out of, and the website. And so I said, you know, we want to seek the truth of things because of some of the things that happened to me and the things that I saw in the Nevada prisons, all the corruption and the different things that are going on. The public's being hoodwinked like they wouldn't believe.
So let's talk about it. Why did you go to jail? Why? How did you fight for it and get out?
I had my identity stolen, and these people went around doing real estate deals and all kinds of stuff and got caught up in an HOA scam. They thought I was standing in the yard of a house that I bought, and the realtor and her business partner got in an argument, who was Filipino. And she was cussing her out and saying, I will tell everyone on how you laundered Ferdinand Marcos's money and built all these houses. And I'm going, wow, this is interesting. So when I get the house, I look in the garage, and her husband was he was a chiropractor. And he left some chiropractic equipment in the garage, and sitting on the table was a book about this thick. And I got looking through it. It was all the corporate records on how they laundered the money and everything. And there's a large bank in downtown Las Vegas that was involved in it. And so they thought I was going to, rat on them, I guess. And so they set out, embarked on fabricating stories and lies. They got the Metro Police Department to get involved, and through their dereliction of duty and failure to investigate properly, they pinned all this stuff on me and sent me to prison for 28 to 64 years for a paper crime I never committed.
But it's not you. Why they have to put you in jail? Why you didn't prove them that it's not me? This is not my signature and this is not my stamp.
Well, it went beyond that. It went beyond that. It went on to, it could have implicated some very powerful people in this town that was involved in HOA scams and the plumbing that was in the walls and all that stuff. It was a huge scam.
It doesn't make sense.
And so they want to cover it all up.
Sure it does, yeah.
And so they feared me. Well, there was an attorney here in town named David Amsbury. They found him on the side of the road, stripped down, and his legs broke. Later, he went to live at his brother's house to heal, and they found him hanging in the rafters. So these people are vicious. They do exist. They're here. And you got three philosophies in this town. First, you try and buy it. If you can't buy it, you got to steal it. If you can't steal it, you get rid of it. So hopefully, once we expose what we're about to tell these folks, it's absolutely unbelievable. So in my quest to regain my freedom, which I was so deserving of, 2 years, because I helped over 200 people get out of prison. He said I was practicing law without a license. So he put me in a hole for two years. And while I was in there for the 2 years, I made the best of it. I figured a way around getting what I needed to do my law and push forward to get my freedom back. And it worked. I sued a judge here in town, and I turned him in the Ethics Judicial Commission, canon law violations and all. He was reelected in January. He was actually forced to resign in April. He came out with a BS story. He's back practicing.
So are you talking about the lawyer who put you in jail?
I'm talking about
No.
the judge.
The judge, I mean, the
judge,
judge
yeah.
who put you in jail because he think you're guilty as...
Well, I never had a
Well-
fair trial, and I never had a lawful trial.
How come you went far? How come you didn't reach out there is a way that you can actually be resonated because a lot of people are saying, hey, there's so many, people go to jail without no proving that they're guilty.
Well, Nevada has a real high
Because-
rate of convicting innocent people, and that's through the DA's office and how they muster up and fabricate all these different stories in their storyline. And through the voir dire process in Nevada, the juries are tampered with. So you're walking into a lion's den when you walk in. You can hire jury experts and all that stuff, and that doesn't mean that you're going to get it right. So through the voir dire process and even the alternates, they're all tampered with. So they already know what the whole case is about, what's going down and everything else. And it's all pre-amplified in their mindset by the DA, because he gets to go in there and explain everything and tell all the story and all before you even get an opportunity.
But you said they stolen your identity and
This was a group.
Well,
That was another part of
there's a
it.
reason.
Oh.
There's a reason, very specific reason why he got convicted, and that is, and the reason why he got out of his criminal charges, and that is because his lawyer. When you have a criminal case, you have, if you're going to have witnesses, you have to present a witness list to the court, and you have to give it to the prosecution. He never prepared that list, even though, how many witnesses did you have?
26 plus a handwriting expert.
Handwriting expert that was ready to testify that not only the signatures were not Gary's,
Yeah.
but she was ready to testify exactly whose signature it was.
Yeah, who did the forgeries, yeah.
And
And
because
what happened? Why?
his attorney didn't file the necessary paperwork.
The
And
judge
then-
denied all the witnesses and everything.
so the judge denied all his witnesses. He didn't have any witnesses for his
He wouldn't even give
defense.
me a Ferretta hearing. I said, I do not want that lawyer to represent me. He's not in my best interest. Then it come to find out he was being prosecuted by the same DA's office the same time I was.
And where did he end up?
He wound up in my old bunk in the prison.
He went to prison.
Yeah.
With you?
No,
Yeah. Well, he was in there at the same time, yeah.
he was in there at the same time. And I ran into him coming out of the hall. He was in the rotunda. And I go, wow, Robert Weatherford, what are you doing here? And he said, don't tell any of these people I'm an attorney. I said, I don't have nothing to say about you. I think you're a dirtbag. But I walked away from him.
Because this
Let
is
them
the
be.
guy who tried to represent you.
Yeah, well, it was
He
really
didn't try
bad.
to represent him. He didn't do anything.
He didn't do nothing.
And then what he did,
Set me up.
he set him up, and then he tried to get him killed, literally. What
Yeah.
did he say to you?
Yeah, so I got convicted by an innocent jury. It was a blinded jury. It was deliberately set up and blinded, and the judge went right along with it and
Sometimes the
helped
jury
it.
that they're selecting are not knowledgeable.
They
The
don't give
jury-
you a chance to be knowledgeable
Yeah,
because you don't
because-
know what took place prior to them coming in.
No, because a lot of, let's just say court, they're just sending message to who they want to be on jury.
Well, you cannot even.
They should be, actually, I'm sorry, they should just be, interviewing it first, do you have this knowledge or do you have to read the book? Do
they
you have to
It
search
doesn't
your-
work like that, though.
Doesn't-
They
work
should
like that.
search their, trying to, find them guilty or not guilty.
Well, here's the failing of the system, okay? The failing of the system is this. You have people that are in public positions that swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution and haven't even read it. How do you support and defend something when you haven't even read it? You don't even know what it says. You go, well, I heard it's the Fourth Amendment, I heard the Fifth Amendment, you have the right to remain silent, and a due process. What does the rest of it say? They don't know, they have no clue. So these people are violating, and here's the thing about the Constitution, okay, that people don't understand. The Constitution is not written by the state legislature. It's written by the people. It's the people's document. The state legislature cannot pass a statute that amends the Constitution. It's illegal.
Well, they did tamper with
But
it.
they do it anyway, okay?
They tampered
Because guess
with it.
what? They don't know what the Constitution says. So what happens is these people are completely ignorant of what their authority is, completely ignorant of what their limitations on their authority is, and they don't know, so they just do whatever they want.
Yeah, you got judges sitting on the bench that don't have bond insurance, nor have they signed their oath of office. Technically, they have no business even being on the bench.
Yeah,
it's illegal,
so
but they do it.
Oh, wait, why did you wait that almost 10 years? What
Well,
make it 10 years?
Oh, that's a good question, because 5 years into my sentence, I was able to get the Nevada Supreme Court to reverse my case and send it back down to the district court. And my God, I didn't want to go back in front of that same crooked judge. So what I did was, I sued him, and I knew he'd claim absolute immunity, but what it did, it created a conflict, which forced him to pass it on, and I got another judge who's now on the Supreme Court. That judge pretty well saw through everything, and then the state came at me and was claiming I was a vexatious litigant. I had to go in and defend myself on that and prove, and actually the state got shut down on that argument. And so they pushed, and what that means is if you're declared a vexatious litigant, you can no longer file anything. You're toast. You're done.
So do you think so the government are not telling us the truth sometimes? Do you think so that the government fail us? Do you think
It's
so
not only
that,
the government. You have so
well,
much
do you think
corruption.
so the government employee are not doing the right job?
Oh, they're doing the
just
right job. They're being
they
paid
are.
off.
I know, but so, do you think so some of them are ignorant? Do you think so some of them are...
They have the Downing-Kruger syndrome.
They are absolutely ignorant. Everybody that takes an oath of office, before you should even be able to apply for a government office, I think that you should have to take a test.
Absolutely.
Okay, that on the Constitution and all that. I think people that are immigrants that have to apply for their American citizenship, they have to take a test on the Constitution.
But we do, though.
I know that.
Because
I know, but
America is actually an immigrant country.
I know,
Yeah,
but
these judges
but
don't.
you do.
That you're
People
talking
that
about the
don't
judges.
know that.
Well, I'm not just talking about judges. Okay, lawyers take the oath.
DAs.
DAs take the oath. Anybody in a public office working over here, Parks and Recreation or whatever, anybody who's an elected officials.
Okay, you're talking about
elected officials,
officials.
the constable, the anybody, the people that work on the county commission, all those
Or
people,
state,
everybody,
city.
you're right, state legislators, city, mayor, they all take oaths of office to support and defend the Constitution, but they don't know
do
what
it,
it says.
right?
They don't know what it
So
says.
I was convicted on all 17 counts, given as worse as a death sentence, 28 to 64 years. I would be almost 100 years old coming out of the prison. And I said, this ain't right. I mean, if you're guilty of something, then you should do the time, you do the punishment, if you do the crime. But if you didn't, don't stop crying, just keep pushing. And that's what I did. And when the judge pronounced judgment on me, he said, do you have anything to say before I pronounce judgment? And I said to him, and I wasn't kidding him, I said, Your Honor, you're about to embark on the biggest mistake of your judicial career, sending me to prison for something I didn't do. Yeah, I hear you. Well, you should have took it because I meant it. And in the process of doing it, I made the biggest discovery in Nevada history, is that 12,697 people are held in prison by laws that do not exist. They may have the surface appearance, but when they're challenged, they don't exist. And here's what happened. Back May 31st in 1951, this stealth fraud has gone on 51 years. Nobody's ever done a legal audit or checked it out until now. And what they did, they repealed all the statutes at large in the statutes of Nevada.
Gary,
Once you
hold
repeal
on.
a statute, you can never call it
I
back.
don't-
It's gone
hold on.
forever.
Gary, my mind is boggling. You're saying the judge actually tells you you're guilty, correct? So, if you are guilty...
Well, I was
did
found
you
guilty
ever-
by a jury of
I
my
know.
peers.
Did you ever had that in your position, all the properties that bought from your name?
No.
But then how could the judge basically find you guilty
Well,
and
the
put
judge
you
did.
in jail.
The jury
The,
did.
the jury did because of the way in which the picture was painted by the DA.
But who
I
has...
could say nothing.
I know. Let me finish this one first before you go to what you discover when you're in jail about what happened to the government, like that. Because it's still not clear to me. I'm so amused that this jury find you guilty, that you didn't even have that in your position, the money laundering or embezzlement or find you guilty of buying properties and using, I mean, these people use your name. How come on that day you didn't prove it to them, or these people who uses your name, you said there's another Filipino that
Right.
made that deal.
Right.
How this thing happened if you don't have that property in your position? What went wrong?
Well, what went wrong is you've got a DA that got the judge to basically gag me and say, you can't bring this up, you can't discuss this when the jury comes back in, you can't mention anything. Or if you go to, I'm going to have the bailiff take you back and lock you up, and I'm going to hold the trial without
Why
you.
you allow that to manipulate you?
You don't have any choice. You have a
Did they
lawyer there
bribe you?
standing in speaking for you. You have no right to speak.
Right. The
You
lawyer.
have an officer of the court. The lawyer
But
is
you
an officer
can
of the
you can
court.
raise your hand to
No.
the
No, I
judge and
tried
say,
that.
"Please
No, that's contempt.
No,
That's
that
contempt.
does not work.
He can get me for contempt.
No, that does
And
not work.
and he warned me of that. So I did try that. It doesn't work.
So that means you were there with you that no freedom.
He was bound and gagged, literally, legally bound and gagged, and had to sit there and watch while his lawyer just sold
They
him
just
out.
crucified
Why did you
me.
hire that stupid lawyer?
He didn't.
Why did you?
I didn't
you
hire him.
Find,
Here's what
There's so
happened.
many smart lawyer anyway, so it's true.
I hired the Ogata law firm, and I'll mention his name because it's not right what they did. And him and his lawyer friend split up, and they gave me this other attorney named Robert Weatherford. I hope he hears it too, because I'll never
Robert
forget it.
Winifred?
Weatherford.
Weatherford?
His father, his stepfather, is head of the state police lieutenant, and he told me he'd won all these cases and all this other stuff. So I didn't select Robert Weatherford. I inherited him by their breakup of this law firm, and so.
So wait, the first lawyer represent you. He
Right.
was out and they replaced it to.
Yeah, I hired
Well,
the Ogata law
partners.
firm.
They were partners.
They were partners.
The
And when
partner.
they broke up their firm, they split up the cases. He hired Ogata. Ogata signed his agreement.
Ogata is your first lawyer.
That's who I hired, the Ogata law firm.
And then Ogata break up with Weatherford and you
Right.
end up with Weatherford.
He
Boy.
gave Weatherford his
Who also
case.
was doing dope. He got caught with a gun.
Wait, is Weatherford expert? Because my ex, he is an intellectual property lawyer, litigation, corporation, business, and also patent and trademark. So this Weatherford expert to your case and
No,
real
no,
estate?
you can't call yourself an expert if you're a lawyer, except in patent cases.
Well, what I'm saying is,
No, he was
does
my
even
attorney of
know?
record. He became my attorney of record. And the lies that he told and the manipulation was just unbearable. So they ultimately found him ineffective assistance of counsel. So I filed a habeas corpus, and they granted the hearing. The Nevada Supreme Court remanded back down and demanded that the district court hear it. So I went in front of this different judge, who's now on the Supreme Court. And when we got it in a habeas corpus, you have to hear all the issues. You can't just pick and choose. And when we got down to the issue of the NRS, they didn't even want to discuss that. He stopped the hearing and he said, "Counsel, I'll see you and the DA in my chambers in 5 minutes." They go back there, and this is the way it was told to me, is that the discussion was he was going to go to the bathroom. When he came back, they better have something resolved, because if they don't, the judge was going to grant me a new trial. Well, I would have been better off to take the new trial than to take the offered plea and the release. And what they did, about a half hour later, he had me taken to the holding cell, the bailiff taken to the holding cell. My attorney come in, court appointed, and he said, "Well, I got good news and I got bad news. You want to hear which one you want to hear first?" I said, "Whichever one you want to give me." He said, "Oh, here's the bad news. the judge is going to grant you a new trial, but the DA is going to make an oral argument, and unfortunately, you're going to be in prison another 10 years. What? Are you kidding me? He said, but now here's the good news. They're going to abandon all the other crimes. They're going to do away with it, and they're going to assign you a new crime, but they're going to give you an alpha plea, which means you don't have to admit to guilt, and he'll release you today.
It's like nolo contendere.
And he said he'll release you
You're
today.
not civilly liable either.
So you're
So
saying,
I said, in your professional opinion, what would you do? He said, I would take the plea deal and the alpha plea, and you'll be done. Well, we go back in, they had all the papers already laid out on the table. It was all set, cut and dried.
wow.
So I signed the papers, and they had me sign a waiver, because if there's any deficiencies, which there's a lot of deficiencies, you signed the waiver that you waived the deficiencies, and so Judge Herndon pronounced the new deal on me, and it's such a joke, because the new crime was possession of a financial forgery laboratory. You know what that is? That's your computer in your house,
And a
or
printer.
wherever, a printer,
And a
or whatever you're carrying around.
So he had possession of a computer and a printer, and they're saying that it was possession.
And I want you to know, they found nothing, absolutely
If they don't
nothing
find
on
nothing,
anything.
why they stole your 10 years life?
Because the police, Metro Police, Joe Kelly covered it all up. They made Joe Kelly resign because he stole my money and my jewelry and never made it to the property room. I had an attorney go after him. He was forced to resign, or he was going to be prosecuted. Now, that's my understanding.
This is
So-
a Metropolis.
Oh yeah, they
Yes,
were in on
yes,
it too.
yes.
Yeah, and so they were in on the HOA scam at high levels.
Now, here's the thing. You got to understand the picture here, okay? When when he got arrested, he had $2 billion in the bank, cash, money, okay?
Billion?
Billion.
Billion.
$2 billion?
$2 billion, and he was working on a big project, and he was going to convert the entire Las Vegas Country Club.
Where is
into
that $2 billion?
Okay, well, we'll get to
Okay,
that. We'll get to
I'm
that.
excited. Where
He
is
had
that?
he had
Okay.
$2 billion from investors, okay, in the bank, all right. And what happened is he had how many mansions?
4.
4 mansions, and
6
like-
condos and
six-
32 exotic cars.
6 condos and 32 exotic cars. And so what happened is they arrested him. They wouldn't let him out on bail because these so-called heinous crimes. Or heinous crimes, however you pronounce that, But anyway, so what happened is, while he was incarcerated, all these people that he was doing business with got into his houses and stole everything he owned, including all of his cars. They were all stolen.
Fortunately, I was able to return the $2 billion back to the
Yeah,
investors.
but he returned the $2 billion back to the investors because, he's never been
I could have
investigated by
kept
the
it and everything,
FBI.
but it wasn't the right thing to do.
He's never been investigated by. And
I had them all over here.
all over.
Can we still
He
get
the
it
top
back?
of the
No,
top
I
of
lost everything. The banks foreclosed on me and everything.
the top of the country club, the Las Vegas Country Club towers. He had how many?
11,000 square feet in the top of there. It's worth $11.5 million.
He threw parties. Pink was there. Or Tommy Lee, what's his name?
Yeah.
Tommy Lee was there.
Yeah.
All these people. Michael Jackson's been to his house.
Latoya sat at the
Something-
piano with me
There
and
was a
played.
glitch.
Oh, okay.
It like knocked your whole name off, and then I put it on, and it was like, what? But when I reopen it on the preset, it's still here.
So
Anyways,
Gary.
I'm gonna come in about a minute.
Yeah, but let us know where we left off, okay, first. And
No,
so,
we
He
left
had
off at
a
the body
billion.
billion. We left at the billion.
All I remember is Otter's face.
Yeah.
A billion?
Yeah.
$2 billion in the bank. So what I'm trying to say is this,
Yeah.
okay? Why would a guy with $2 billion in the bank and all these mansions and all this stuff, why would he sign?
Now I know. Hold on a second. Let's hold
What?
on to it.
Why would he do